Why does it do that? Why does it do that? Holy fucking shit. Sorry if anybody's listening to that. I still haven't been able to figure out what the hell that is. Okay. Alright, let me know if you can hear the sound of my voice. I guess I have to do audio checks every time now. The Wirecast program that I'm using to stream always seems to have some kind of issue with the audio. So let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Checks every time now. Yep, alright. Should be working. Hello, Zach Harris. Can you hear me good? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. You can hear me just fine. Okay, good. Good. Alright, we will start in just 1 minute. Alright. Well, I had to finish off my bottle of water just before we started, didn't I? Sorry, I got some saltines here, hoping that'll settle my stomach. Alright, let's go. Welcome back to the Comic Show Post Show, where I talk about all the weekly comic book shows, at least the ones I watch. And I give you guys my thoughts, and then I let you people chime in and give your thoughts. And then we debate and discuss and whatnot. Got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's get right to it. Starting with, as usual, The Flash. Season 2, Episode 6, Enter Zoom. Team Flash try to lure Zoom into a trap. It doesn't go well. And that's pretty much the episode right there. Wow. What the hell happened here? We have two very different episodes here. The first one, believe it or not, was actually really bad. Very little about the first 3/4 of this episode worked for me. It starts with this flash forward of Barry being defeated by Dr. Light, and right away, you know exactly what they're doing. I took one look at this and said, oh, well, that's our Linda Park, isn't it? And in case you didn't realize what was going on, they start explaining the fake out in the very next scene. Not 10 seconds later, immediately killing any and all suspense. So you got Dr. Light escaping, which I had to roll my eyes at a little bit. Cisco sees the cell door is still locked, sees her clothes piled on the floor, and he knows this is a metahuman that controls light. Yes, he wasn't aware that she could turn invisible, but for a guy as smart as Cisco, wouldn't he have had some idea of what she was doing? At least enough to not open the cell door. But with her gone, Team Flash decided to use Linda Park to lure out Zoom, which I wasn't sure how to feel about, to be honest. I mean, yeah, they let Linda decide if she wanted to do it or not, but still, that was a little questionable for our heroes. And it was kind of dumb, too. I mean, they bring her in, and Barry is blurring his voice, but not his face. How could she not tell who he is? This woman dated Barry. She knows him pretty well. She's seen him naked, or at least semi-naked, and yet somehow she can't recognize him just because he's wearing a mask that covers up the top part of his face. I mean, she got a really good look at him, but she still couldn't tell it was him. Why wasn't Barry blurring his face anyway? He blurred his face when he was talking to Iris as the Flash last season. So why not here? And then there's the charade itself, where Barry and Linda stage this mock fight that is downright comically inept. They can't act. It's like they didn't practice it at all. They keep breaking character and be like, hey, was I convincing enough? Oh, I don't know if I was convincing enough. Better do it again. And then they keep wondering why Zoom isn't showing up. It was so bad, I honestly could not tell if it was unintentionally funny or if they were genuinely playing this for laughs. That any of them actually thought Zoom would fall for this dog and pony show is kind of embarrassing. And he doesn't fall for it, thankfully. If he had, I would have had a lot of trouble taking him seriously as a villain after that. So there was a lot of dumb stuff here. About the only things I liked were, again, the Barry Patty stuff, and someone pointing out that Barry is being stupid with this whole plan, and that stupidity actually being acknowledged as a character flaw for a change, and not just being glossed over like they usually do. So yeah, the first 3/4 of this episode, I was all set to give this a big fat thumbs down. But suddenly, the switch flips, Zoom shows up, and then the last 10 minutes are fantastic. I don't know how they did this. Zoom kidnaps Linda because he saw right through Barry's stupid plan, because the plan sucked. He lures Barry into a fight. It's a really good fight with Barry totally outclassed. Barry gets his ass kicked. And then Zoom is dragging him around to the media and the police, showing him off like a fucking trophy just because he can. This is some really great villain shtick right here. Now, why Zoom told Harrison Wells that he was coming after him next, only to then just rush off when he could have killed Wells right then and there, was head-scratching. But hey, I mean, maybe Zoom wanted to be theatrical about it. The only thing that really shook my head at in this whole thing was when Barry and Zoom ran up a building and shot into the air and then fought all the way down, crashing to the ground without anything breaking their fall. I don't care how fast they heal, that would have killed them. I guess the Speed Force saved them or something. Still a great fight, though. And we get some nice drama afterward with the reveal of Wells' daughter, Jessie Quick, and and Barry being crippled. I don't expect that to last very long, obviously, but it does drive home that Zoom is not someone to fuck with. And it's really effective. So, weird episode here. This was shaping up to be a really crappy installment, but my God, they really saved this thing in the last 10 minutes. That was an impressive recovery. Doesn't excuse the first 30 minutes, but at least it ended on a really high note. So that was The Flash. Sound off on The Flash in the comment section, or the chat room, because I still can't figure out how to re-enable the comment section, goddammit. Excuse me. Save me one. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, forgot. Twitter questions. Okay. At Pedro Lunion. And Will's daughter is Jessie Quick. That would appear to be the situation. Yeah. Um, I don't know what her parentage is in the comics. I don't think it's Harrison Wells in the comics, but whatever. I think Wells wants to reverse all metas back to being humans because his daughter is one. All right. Not sure there's much evidence of that, but who knows. Patty is too perfect. I see the writers making her Zoom's ally or something. I don't think so. Maybe Earth 2 Patty. No, but our Patty, no. I don't see her being perfect. I just see her as being a good match for Barry. And compared to Iris, who wouldn't be? In terms of romance. So no, I don't think they're setting up Patty to be evil. No, I don't think that at all. Pedro Lunion. Every time I see Zoom, I think he's alternate Joe. Huh. That would definitely be unexpected. Or here's a crazy thought: alternate Barry's dad is Zoom. Oh, that would be cool. Have the new Flash versus the old Flash from the old show. That would be a really cool twist. Actually, I wouldn't mind if they did that at all. That would be neat. And trash that. Okay. The Save Me one. I thought this episode of The Flash was the best in a long time. Yeah, the stage fight was lame, but it was supposed to be, so I'll give it a pass. I'm glad Zoom was not dumb enough to fall for it. Yeah, my problem is that it was so lame, I couldn't believe that they thought for a second that it would work. The good guys were just embarrassing themselves with this. And like I said, I don't know if it might not have been played for laughs, but that's how it came off. It was not good. That giving asshole. This episode of The Flash was bizarre. The first 45 minutes of it was complete shit, but then in a matter of seconds it becomes one of the best of the season so far. Yeah. I don't know how it happened. This was a schizophrenic episode. Gore492. I love what they had done with Zoom so far. The whole Dr. Light stuff was very weird and awkward. Really glad they didn't have Zoom fall for that stupid trick. Yeah, he would have had to hand in his villain card if he had fallen for that, wouldn't he? The Save Me one. I wonder if Sarah will be on The Flash next week. She said she was going to Central City. Maybe she will help stop Grodd. Possibly. She doesn't know Team Flash like the others do. I suppose she could run into Grodd, perhaps. I don't know if I'm holding my breath on that one now. That giving asshole. At first I was shocked, even horrified, that anyone would be stupid enough to send a powerless hipster to fight against a serial killer. But then it goes from 0 to 10 in literally seconds. No comment necessary. Totally agree on that. The Save Me one. I think the whole Barry can't walk thing would have come off better if he hadn't been for that ending in the season premiere of Arrow. My God, yeah. I'm so sorry. The flash forward where he speeds over to meet Oliver at the gravesite, yeah. Um, yeah, well, like I said, I don't expect this to last very long. If at most it'll probably be that'll probably culminate in the next episode, and then it'll get wrapped up. I mean, you can't have the Flash. You can't do a show about the Flash and have the Flash be crippled. It doesn't. You don't really have a show at that point. So I think it works as a cliffhanger for one episode, but I don't think it'll last very long, and we shouldn't expect it to. That giving asshole. Even the acting, literal and fake acting, stepped up in the last few minutes. 10 out of 10. Holy fucking shit, Flash. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. I would give the last 10 minutes a very high score. There's still that first 30 minutes to dragging it down. But yeah, the last 10 minutes definitely earned them some extra points. Magpie's Nest Productions. How much have I missed? Not much. I just reviewed The Flash. That's what we're talking about now. That Giving Asshole. Also, some actual science in Flash for once with the terminal velocity thing. They would have needed to land on something soft to not die, but whatever. Science. Yeah, that terminal velocity thing actually made sense to me. I'm still not sure how they survived the crash landing, but comic books. Remember? Yeah, guess that's one of those situations where we're not supposed to examine it too closely. Magpie's Nest Productions. The voice of Zoom is Tony Todd, so I'm waiting for the Candyman song. Yeah, that'd be kind of quite a twist, wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it? Zoom is the Candyman. Magpie's Nest Productions. Why didn't Zoom unmask Flash? Well, my guess is that he doesn't really care who the Flash is. He just wants the Flash to die. Yeah, I didn't really get the impression that Zoom cared much about secret identities and whatever. I could be wrong. Well, that's what I took away from it. Zoom is Earth 2 Barry Allen, though I'd love it for it to be something insane like Earth 2 Quentin Lance or Earth 2 Laurel. But no, it's definitely Barry. Earth 2 Laurel is Zoom, huh? I'm not sure how they'd explain that one. That would be surprising, though. Magpie's Nest Productions. Zoom is Earth 2 Barry Allen. Yeah, that seems to be the prevailing theory right now. And that's what I'm going with, at least. And... okay. Moving on to... Arrow. Season 4, Episode 6, Lost Souls. Felicity discovers that Ray Palmer is alive. Sorry. Ray Palmer's alive. Her mom shows up in town at the encouragement of Oliver to pay Felicity a visit, which leads to some drama between Felicity and Oliver. Team Arrow rescue Ray Palmer from Damien Dark, and if you were hoping that they would be focusing on Sarah more after her miraculous resurrection, then you were sadly disappointed, as I was. This was an episode that thought it was good. It had a lot of components of a good episode. There were a number of really good scenes and some solid acting. Focus on Felicity, which is normally a very good thing. But the pieces didn't really fit together the way they should have in the context of the larger narrative. Let's address the biggest problem first. Just like last week, you brought Sarah back... Just last week, they brought Sarah back to life. For realsies this time. You know, her soul is back in her body and everything. So, why was this episode not about her? Why are we not diving into, really diving into what's going on with her right now, mentally, emotionally, psychologically? Why are we not examining what being brought back from the dead really does to a person? You know, there are some really fascinating things about Sarah that they could have and should have been exploring here, but they didn't. Instead, Sarah is relegated to the C-plot, taking a back seat to the team rescuing Ray Palmer and the Olicity relationship drama. And even what they gave her was kind of questionable. Why is Sarah back in the field already? She just came back from the dead. Is getting shot at by bad guys really the best thing for her to be doing right now? Why is the rest of the team okay with this? You're telling me that Oliver and Diggle are fine with Sarah going back into the field already? With what's been happening to Thea after she was healed by the Lazarus Pit, are you telling me that nobody thinks putting Sarah back in there is a bad idea? I mean, give her a few weeks to get adjusted at least. And then at the end of the episode, she just up and leaves town. She leaves. So I guess we don't have to focus on that now. Sarah's actual resurrection, I thought, tied into the season arc nicely. However, Ray Palmer's return ended up feeling kind of intrusive because it was infringing on things that I thought they should have been focusing on instead. All because they have to set up Legends of Tomorrow. And then there's the actual rescue of Ray, which was better handled, although not without some problems of its own. They decide they need to bring in Curtis / Mr. Terrific to help them restore Ray to normal size. So they're going to recruit Curtis and somehow convince him to go into the field on a very dangerous mission, infiltrating this building owned by Damien Dark, in which all manner of horrible things could happen to him. Completely untrained. They're just dropping this on him. He's got no idea what's happening. No, no, they're going to recruit him for this. And they do it off camera. Oliver is like, we need Curtis to do such and such. And then the next scene is Curtis and Felicity jumping off a building. They didn't have to go to him or convince him or do anything. It's just, it felt like there was a scene or two missing there. Which brings me to the Felicity stuff. Look, I'm glad the writers are focusing on the relationship with Oliver and giving it layers and making it complicated and so it's not too easy and stuff like that. Her being upset with herself for being so wrapped up in being with him that she didn't notice that Ray was trying to contact her until now and taking it out on Oliver, that makes sense. The conflict is not a bad one. There are some very good scenes here between Oliver and Felicity, with her getting upset at him, Felicity and her mom talking about the relationship, Oliver and Dig talking about the relationship. It's nice to see Oliver feeling a little insecure, like he's still got a little bit of jealousy at Ray Palmer there. That was nice. All good scenes as they hash this stuff out. But then they give the real reason why Felicity is mad at herself, and it becomes kind of stupid. Felicity is angry because she, quote, lost herself in Oliver, quote, and she's pissed because she's not that person. She's never been that person who loses herself because she's so wrapped up in a guy. Really? I'm sorry, Arrow writers, but I don't really buy that. Isn't this kind of exactly what she was doing most of last year? Nice try with Felicity's reasoning, but I'm afraid it's a little too late to retcon the entire third season. Remember? Season 3? When Palmer was stalking Felicity and placating her with promotions and expensive gifts, and then she fell into a relationship with him while also still being hung up on Oliver? So all that stuff never happened? It's a bit of a stretch, you guys. Just saying. The problem here is that this episode was not about what it should have been about. This should have been a Sarah Spotlight episode. They really examined what she was going through post-resurrection. Instead, we have a bunch of setup for Legends of Tomorrow in regards to Ray Palmer and relationship melodrama that attempted to retcon or simply ignore previous character development. There were some very good scenes during all this stuff, but the C plot needed to be its own episode, and the A and B plot, so that way the A and B plots could have benefited from having that time freed up to flesh out some of the things that they weren't developing properly here. Oh, and something else I've been wondering about for a couple of weeks now. Why have the ghosts not attacked Oliver yet? When Jerry Ryan announced that she was running for mayor, the ghosts attacked her and kidnapped her daughter almost immediately. And yet Oliver announced that he was running for mayor probably a few weeks ago in the timeline by now, and they haven't gone after him or his family or his friends or anything yet. Though, for the record, I don't trust that campaign manager that Thea made a date with. I very much expect him to be evil. So anyway, this episode had some good parts to it. They just didn't really gel together properly, and the end result was kind of messy. All right. Arrow, questions from Twitter. I said, Felicity isn't the kind of person who loses herself in a guy, so we're just forgetting that season 3 happened? At Pedro Lunian replied, here I was, happy that the third season Felicity was gone, and then she's back again? I don't know if she's back. I think the problem is that they're denying that she ever existed, which is bothersome. I said, Sarah's back in the field already. Isn't it a little soon for this? And Pedro Lunian says, I'm amazed Oliver and John accepted it. Oh, dude, so am I. I mean, they couldn't have fit in one scene where they object to this. It's like, Sarah, no, it's too soon. You need to recuperate and just try to deal with what you've been through. I mean, you came back from the dead. It's okay to not be put in life and death situations right away. But no, they don't even touch on that. Just Sarah's back in the field and that's it. Nobody says dick about it. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with the fact that nobody brought that up. Gore492, Laurel is Zoom. Oh god, I can hear the outrage already. The Save Me One. I think that campaign manager works for Dark. First, he's trying to drive a wedge between Oliver and Quentin's daughter, Laurel. Now he's coming on to Thea. Seems suspicious to me. Yeah, it's a lot like that DJ guy from, what was it, last season? Or the season before that? Yeah, I think she went out with some DJ, and then he turned out to be evil. I think it was the second season, actually. Wait, what? I don't know what it was, but yes, it feels like that. I'm pretty sure this guy is going to be working for Dark. Let's see. That gaming asshole. I get the impression that they're going to break up Felicity and Oliver soon, probably for someone else like Sarah or even Laurel again, which I can't really complain about. Oh, I disagree. No, well, we know Sarah is not sticking around. You know, she already left town, plus she's going to be at Legends of Tomorrow, so she's going to be busy with other stuff. And Laurel, no. I think they're genuinely beyond that now. I think the writers have moved Oliver away from Laurel. I don't think there's any feelings there. They're just friends. Which is perfectly fine with me because they had no romantic chemistry anyway. But yeah, I think that at this point they both understand that they were toxic for each other in a romantic relationship, and they're in a much healthier place now. I think even if Felicity was not in the picture, they wouldn't get back together. Breaking up Felicity and Oliver soon? I don't know. I still think there's a good chance that this will tie into that gravestone in the premiere. I still think we should expect a Felicity death fake out. Maybe they won't break up, but they'll be forced to separate and won't be able to be together for some reason. I don't think they're going to break up, at least not yet. Magpie's Nest Productions. Sounds like they realized Legends of Tomorrow was coming up sooner than they thought, so it was like, quick, bring everyone back. Yeah. Definitely getting that sense. I mean, the problem with Legends of Tomorrow is that it's going to have so many disparate characters and so many moving parts that have to be brought together. It requires a lot of setup. And it's kind of affecting Arrow and Flash right now, because they have to take time out from their own story arcs to set up this one. And it's starting to feel a little intrusive to me. That gaming asshole. I don't think heroes should have steady love interests. It causes all manner of problems that don't need to exist. So, are you advocating one more day? Magpie's Nest Productions. Do you think Thea will have a Red Hood thing happening to her? Maybe something similar. I wouldn't compare her to Jason Todd because I don't think she likes being this way. I mean, it's a compulsion that she has to fight against, but I think she's aware of that. Whereas with Jason Todd, from what little I know about him, I don't think he really cares. I think he's fine being who he is. The Save Me one. Now that Sarah's alive and he's starting a romance with Donna, Quentin doesn't have an excuse to be an a-hole anymore. Good news. Well, Quentin hasn't really been an asshole this season. I mean, he's been much improved. Now, I still don't think he's incredibly fond of Oliver, and he probably never will be, but yeah, it seems like they've got a good truce going, enough to be able to work together amicably. And hey, if he's getting late on the regular, it might improve his mood, at least, so that's good. That gaming asshole. Also, I found out that guy is not Mr. Terrific, but his son, so don't get too fond of him. His death and Terrific's wife's death is what makes him choose to be a superhero. Okay. His son, huh? Well, maybe they changed something. I don't know. Really not familiar with the character from the comics at all, so I can't really judge. That gaming asshole. My best guess is that he'll become the first Terrific, die, and then his father will take up the technology and become the Mr. Terrific from the comic books. Alright. Costelletius, fuck, marry, kill, Laurel Lance, Iris West, or Barbara Keene. Oh my god. Christ, I'm screwed either way. If you put a gun to my head, I guess I'd have to marry Iris, because at least I wouldn't have to worry about her killing me or beating me up. I guess fuck. You know what? I'd fuck Barbara. Yeah, because she's batshit insane at this point. So you gotta figure she'd be open to experimentation. She'd probably be open to some pretty kinky stuff. And then I'd kill Laurel because she's Laurel. That giving asshole. For the record, I'm pretty sure Felicity's dad is Dr. Shiva from the comics. He's a disfigured, hunchback mad scientist with a smoking hot trophy wife and a not evil daughter. Alright. No idea who Felicity's dad is myself. I'm just hoping it's not Damien Dark. Let's see. Costelletius, if you saw the last episode from Season 1, as Barry was traveling through the Speed Force, you saw Barry in jail instead of his dad. Could that have been Barry Allen of Earth 2? I do not remember seeing that. Huh. Have to go back and check. Barry Allen of Earth 2? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. That gaming asshole. BT Dubs, this episode of Gotham pretty much confirmed my assertion that A, Babs and Jim will end up together again, and B, Leslie lied about being attacked. But she didn't. We saw Barbara attack Leslie. As far as I remember. And how on earth could they possibly get Jim and Barbara back together at this point? After what she did? After all the crimes she's committed? No, I can't see that ever happening. But then I remember that it's Gotham, and I don't care to find out. That gaming asshole. Heroes has become so complicated, I have no idea what's going on now. All I know is this episode ended with Knives Chow in the year 7300 AD. What? Oh, jeez. I'm behind on Heroes Reborn. It's a struggle to watch the show now. I want to finish it just so I can say I did, but I'm having trouble staying interested. That gaming asshole, and yes, I am advocating one more day. In fact, I supported the idea, but the execution was retarded. All they needed to do was have MJ and Peter break up. But you see, them breaking up would age the characters too much. See, that's why they went with the deal with the devil instead. Because that was better than them getting a divorce. Oh, Joe Quesada. Gore492, I'm very interested to see Diggle's brother next week. They've been talking about this for a while. I was wondering why they were going to reveal that he wasn't actually dead. When they were going to reveal he wasn't actually dead. Yeah, I missed the trailer for next week. But yeah, I heard about this. Apparently Diggs' brother Andy is still alive. Be interesting to see how they explain that one. That gaming asshole. Hell in the comics, Flash is with Hot Pursuit because his marriage with Iris just ended, so he decided to date this girl with an unrequited crush on him. Hint, hint, Spider-Man writers Black Cat, eh? Well, I always liked Peter and Felicia together. They were fun. It would be nice to see them explore that again. I don't think that's where they're going. But it would be nice. Magpie's Death Productions. Sounds like your relationship with Heroes Reborn is like mine with Arrow. Oh, so you're having trouble staying with Arrow? Huh. But yeah, I mean, Heroes Reborn is like... I mean, it's obvious their hearts weren't really in this, and I'm having a lot of trouble. I keep telling myself to just watch the rest of the episodes. I don't want to. It's a struggle just to look them up on Hulu. Okay. Moving on. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 7, Chaos Theory. May confronts Andrew about his extracurricular activities as an inhuman monster. Simmons tries to ease the tension with Fitz by finally coming clean about her feelings. S.H.I.E.L.D. and the ATCU team up to take down Lash. And Coulson and Rosalind finally make that long-awaited trip to Pound Town. And that it turns out she might be evil. Fuck. This was an episode that you watch for the acting and the character interaction and stuff like that, and not so much for the action. Not that the action was bad, but the characters are where all the really juicy stuff was. Big episode for Blair Underwood here. We get the Lash origin, and the writers came up with a way to turn him that made a lot of sense. You know, he's looking through Jiaying's ledger of Inhumans for S.H.I.E.L.D. As it happens, Jiaying booby-trapped it with Terrigen Mist, and rather than killing Andrew, something unexpected happens, and Lash is born. Yeah, that's a good explanation. A simple explanation, and it's totally something that Jiaying would have done. And remember how I said last week that I was really excited about the possibilities with this? The scenes between Andrew and May in this episode are why. So rarely do we get to see May actually emote. So rarely do we see anything crack through that emotional wall that she puts up. But this does it. Finally, we get to see May visibly upset. She's emotionally compromised for the first time ever. She's so shaken by this that she actually starts making dumb decisions. Confronting Andrew by herself without telling anyone about this? Stupid. But it makes sense. All of a sudden, May is not thinking with her head anymore, and normally she's the last person that would happen to. Yeah, we actually get to see, Agent Melinda May, the cavalry, break down a little bit and show her flawed human side for a change, and that's something that I've been waiting over 2 seasons for. She gets reckless here, but you totally understand why. Because this Andrew situation has gotten under her skin so much that she can't help herself. And with May, that really means something. To have May, of all people, in a spot where she genuinely doesn't know what to do, it really puts over just how desperate a situation this is for her. And how much it affects her. And the performances here, damn. Ming-Na Wen and Blair Underwood put on an acting clinic here. May is trying and failing to keep her emotions under control, which normally is second nature to her, while Andrew is getting more and more scared as he tries to keep Lash from coming out, because the monster in him is starting to perceive all this as a threat, and he's really struggling to contain that, until finally he's so desperate to make her stop that he just whirls around and shoots her. This was awesome. And I love what they're doing with Andrew here. They give him a number of... He actually has like a number of different explanations for why he's doing what he's doing. But that also makes sense, because he's approaching it as a psychologist, but his transformation has instilled in him this compulsion, this urge to kill that he can't control or even explain through psychological means. So he's trying to come up with any reason he can think of to rationalize what he's doing. Even bringing up what happened to May in Bahrain. If he was willing to go that far simply to justify the monster he's turning into, it means this guy is really losing his grip on sanity. He's not in his right mind anymore, because that's something he would have never done before now. So then the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D. figure out what's going on, and they team up to fight Lash. They team with the ATCU people, and they capture him, with May breaking her own heart all over again to do it. Shooting him to get him into that pod is... How do you know that didn't affect him? How do you know it wouldn't hurt him? It didn't. Poor May. She's just not allowed to be happy, is she? And what else is cool about this is how it tied a bunch of disparate story threads together. It gets Lincoln on the same page as S.H.I.E.L.D. finally. Daisy and Rosalind Price come to a surprising understanding by the end. And that was really well done, I thought. First, Daisy is in Season 1 Sky mode, where she's being kind of self-righteous and morally offended by the ATCU's actions. Excuse me. But, Rosalind, even though we're not necessarily meant to agree with her or trust her 100%, is actually making really good points. You're being too naive about this. The Daisy Johnsons out there may be the exception to the rule, but a lot of these Inhumans are dangerous to themselves and others, and they need to be contained or people die. And then the climax happens. Andrew lashes out, see what I did there? And he proves Rosalind's point for her. So Daisy comes to the realization that, yeah, okay, it's not as black and white as I thought. You might have a point here. So this was some really good, character building stuff. You see, Daisy? Your new stepmom isn't the enemy. She just wants to be friends. Or does she? Okay, let's talk about that. So the Coulson-Rosalind sexual tension is like a volcano about to blow by this point. He's letting her on the plane. They could have joined the Mile High Club, but they didn't, just to toy with me. She's helping him with his tie. Helping him with his tie? And I'm just sitting there, watching this, grinding my teeth together like, will you two just fuck already? And then they do. And then, fuck my ass, she might be evil. Son of a... These writers are fucking sadists, I swear to God. I was really angry about this. But once I calmed down and I talked to a few people, I decided it might not be what it looked like. Rosalind received a post-coital phone call from Gideon Malik, it's Power's booth, and says she's bringing Coulson to him. This does not necessarily mean that she's secretly in league with the guy. We know he's on the World Security Council and he has ties to Hydra, but apparently he has managed to keep his cover intact. So it's possible that Rosalind has no idea who this guy is. Could be she's just in touch with him because he's going to be at the meeting, because that's his job as a member of the World Security Council. So while they definitely teased that she could be potentially evil, I suspect this one is a fake out. Rosalind Price may not be evil, and that is what I choose to believe, damn it. They just revealed that someone else Coulson trusted was a vicious killer. To have him be betrayed again so soon after that would be kind of weird. Yeah, plus, the promo for next week shows that he's already questioning her and stuff. So I think this is all going to be just a tease. I do think that she's keeping secrets from Coulson about something, but I don't think this is one of them. But damn, that tease did get me worked up for a while, though. As did the Fitzsimmons stuff, but in a completely different way. This storyline is not taking the direction I thought it would after the space asshole incident. Yeah, there's tension between Fitz and Simmons, yeah, but look what's going on. They're not arguing. They're not avoiding each other. They're trying to be honest about how they feel, even if it hurts to do so. I was expecting a repeat of Season 2, where this big wedge gets driven between them, which causes them to be estranged for months, but surprisingly, it's the exact opposite that's happening. You definitely get this. You definitely get the impression that these two learned a lot from what they went through last season, and are absolutely dead set on not repeating those mistakes because they know how important they are to each other now, and they don't want to go through that again. And that's terrific. I've said this before. I don't expect characters to be perfect, but I do expect them to learn from their mistakes. Characters having flaws is good, as long as they're not constantly ruled by them. And that's what's going on here, is two flawed people who made mistakes in the past, but are trying like hell to not do that again. If only Barry Allen could follow their example. And I just loved how this played out. Simmons gives Fitz the phone that she made all those recordings with on Planet Death, asking him to fix it, but really, she's just giving it to him because she wants him to watch the video message that she left for him. She's pretty much encouraging him to I want you to watch all that stuff. Because after a season of her being clueless about Fitz, and another season of her being mostly confused about him, finally Simmons understands everything, and she wants him to know how she felt. She wants him to know that when she was at her lowest, and she thought she was going to die on that planet alone, that she was thinking of him. That she was thinking about what the two of them could have had together. And holy shit, the scene where he's watching this video was so heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little bit. But yeah, I'm man enough to admit that. And I don't know how these two keep doing this, but Henstridge and DeCastiger, man, these two kill me every week. It is ridiculous how good they are. And it pisses me off that they'll probably never be recognized for that because they're on a comic book show. So anyway, after that scene nearly reduced me to a blubbering mess, they talk again. Fitz, being Fitz, offers her an out if she changed her mind about anything. But she's like, no, I'm not playing games here. I meant everything I said in that video. So, what do you think we should do about this, Fitz? It's very much laying all the cards on the table type of moment, because after 2 seasons, Fitz finally has the confirmation. He finally knows that she feels the same way that he does. It's incredibly cathartic. The only thing holding them back now is the third wheel, that is Space Asshole. Fitz knows that still needs to be resolved because Simmons might not be in the most emotionally stable place right now. And there's probably an insecure part of him, too, that still isn't sure what she's going to do when they go back for this guy. So for now, they don't do anything. They just watch the sunrise. The sunrise that Simmons never watched with Space Asshole, but she gets to watch it with Fitz. It's a beautiful, sweet, touching moment, with a little dash of symbolism. So, yeah. I never expected it to go this way. But somehow, the Space Asshole thing has brought Fitz and Simmons closer together. If you can believe that. They finally managed to acknowledge their feelings and be straight with each other about them. And this is something that's been fucking them up from day one. And yeah, there is a pretty big elephant in the room that they'll need to deal with, and I'm sure that's going to throw a huge monkey wrench into the works when they do. But this whole thing is showing how much Fitzsimmons have grown. You know, the tragedy they went through at the end of Season 1 nearly ripped them apart, but the tragedy they went through at the end of Season 2 has forced them to come together. Something very sweet about that. As for the elephant in the room, this seems like a good time to give you guys a Space Asshole is an Evil Piece of Shit 2K15 update. I have discovered additional evidence that this son of a bitch is not what he appears to be. If you rewatch the flashback episode of Simmons' time on Planet Death and pause it right when she falls into the cave and the hole in the roof gets covered up, then go frame by frame and enhance the image, you can clearly see that it was not Space Asshole who trapped her in that cave, but actually the death entity in its astronaut form. There's a post on Tumblr, actually, that got a screenshot of that image. Hang on, I'm going to post a link to it right here in the chat room so you guys can see it. 1 second. Okay. Take a look at that. Yep. Yeah, quite an eye-opener, huh? It was the death entity that trapped Simmons in there. Then when she wakes up, she's been locked in a cage, which just materialized out of nowhere, apparently. And then look, there's Space Asshole. So Simmons only encountered him in the first place because the death entity orchestrated their meeting, which means it wanted the two of them together for some reason. So everything that happens after that, we have to call into question now. Because if that creature really does have powers of, like, psychological persuasion and stuff, and we're assuming that it drove Simmons to Space Asshole for a specific purpose, then we can't take anything at face value anymore, because it could have been pulling her strings the whole time without anyone ever realizing it. This really makes you wonder about a lot of things, like what exactly the true purpose of Simmons' relationship with Space Asshole was. More importantly, what the hell happened to her when she had sex with him? If that was all really happening because the death entity wanted it to, and everything until Fitz showed up to rescue Simmons was by design, then there could be some really bone-chilling implications here. This is some scary fucking stuff. Now, as far as what exactly is going on here, that I still don't know. But in light of what we learned this week, I think I'm zeroing in on it. I'm making some educated guesses here, but with Simmons coming clean to Fitz about how she feels about him and then finally being honest with each other about that, at this point, the only thing really stopping them from being together is the unresolved Space Asshole situation. And Gemma can't really get some form of healthy closure on that relationship if it turns out that Space Asshole is just straight up evil and always was. At the same time, from the way they've set this up, there really has to be something wrong with him. Otherwise, a lot of things just would not make sense about this at all. So what I think happened is that Space Asshole was a normal human before he went to that planet, but has since been changed by it into something else. Now, whether it be that he died and was resurrected as a ghost or something else, that I still can't say. However, I think he does believe that he is what he says he is, but is just ignorant to his true nature, whatever that may be. Now, the revelation that he may have been sent to the planet by that cult that was sacrificing people to the monolith changes things considerably. Excuse me. Did he know about that? Was he in the dark about it? Can't say for certain, but from what we could make out from Fitz's background check last week, we do know that at the very least, he lied to Gemma when it came to certain details about himself. So he might not be knowingly evil, but he's not acting entirely innocent either. Also, the motherfucker hasn't aged in 14 years. So we'll see what develops with that. So, so this was a really great episode for the characters. Certainly the best one for Blair Underwood so far. He got some really good material here. The dilemma that May is put in now could make for some great drama with her that I'm looking forward to. The Fitzsimmons stuff was great. It was heartbreaking and hopeful at the same time. I don't know how they did that, but somehow they pulled it off. I do have a couple nitpicks. I was hoping for more out of the Lash versus Lincoln fight. Yeah, they do fight for a bit, but later there's a scene where Lincoln tries to lure him out, and it looks like they're about to really go at it again, and then it doesn't happen. It was weird. It almost felt like they had to cut something out there. Maybe there was more of that fight, but it had to be cut for time. I know that happens with network TV sometimes, but that was a bit of an awkward moment. And something else that annoyed me. Fitz sees that picture of Space Asshole on Gemma's phone. So Fitz knows what the guy looks like now in present day. Fitz also knows what he looked like a decade and a half ago from that picture that he found when he was doing the background check. So why didn't Fitz notice that Space Asshole has not aged at all? There should be a 16-year age difference in those pictures, but the guy looks exactly the fucking same. Now, maybe we're chucking this up to Fitz being too emotional about the situation that he's not really exercising the analytical part of his brain, but that's a really big thing to not notice. You know, some people on Tumblr have worked this out from examining Fitz's research. And Space Asshole would have been about 36, apparently, when he went on that mission, making him 50-ish when Gemma met him. But the guy that Gemma met looks 20 years younger than he should be. I really need Fitz or somebody on the show to point this out because I want to know what the deal is here, and it bugs the crap out of me that nobody's talking about it. So that's a sticking point. Aside from that, some great acting, great character interaction, very good episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week. Let's see. From Twitter. Let's see. I said, so they actually fuck, but then it turns out she's evil. This show is fucking sadistic. @Striffen19 replied, she may not be. All we know right now is that she's in contact with him. Remember, he is a part of Hydra, but he's also a member of the World Security Council, so she could just be thinking that is who she's answering to. Don't give up hope on her yet. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, once I calmed down, I figured, well, maybe she's not. The guy still has his cover intact. She may not know he's evil. Yeah, that's where I'm at now with that as well. Where is it? There we go. The Save Me one. After seeing this episode and a clip for next week, either Simmons doesn't have feelings for Will the way everyone thought, or she just goes for whatever guy happens to be standing by her at the time. Is there a clip for next week that I haven't seen? I know there was a picture of her and Fitz looking pretty cozy together. I haven't seen a clip of that. Maybe I missed it. That gaming asshole. I disagree. I think their hearts were in it. I just think they were a bit too clever with their plots, namely the time travel shenanigans. Are we talking about Flash again? Oh, no, Heroes, yeah. I just think they were a bit too clever with their plots, namely yeah. I think that tends to be a recurring problem with the Heroes franchise, is that the writers try to get too fancy, and they come up with plots that they're not really equipped to pull off properly. And it seems to be what's happening here too. Gore492, well, you finally got what you wanted with Coulson and Rosalind. FK's heartbreaking bit by bit when she's found out she's in Hydra. Not necessarily. She may not necessarily be in Hydra. God damn it. I refuse to believe that until I see proof. That gaming asshole. I'm tired of Fitz. His constant pining for Simmons is approaching creepy. I'd almost prefer him to just turn heel and be creepy on purpose than this nonsense. Really? Well, I would say that I'm growing tired of him being the show's emotional punching bag more often than not. But they do that for a reason because he's a popular character. A lot of people are on hashtag Team Fitz, and he's a very easy character to sympathize with. I do agree that they are approaching a point where they can't just have him pining for Simmons in a perpetual state of loneliness and misery. They can't really. I don't think they can draw that out any much longer. They got to change up something, and it looks like. Sorry, and it appears that they are soon. Sorry. So that's good. So I don't think they're going to be doing that much longer. The Save Me one. I don't think Rosalind is Hydra, just a pawn in Booth's game. Yes, that is what I'm going with right now. I do think she's kind of shady and keeping secrets. I don't think she's going to turn out to be evil, though. Gore492. I am convinced that there are never any happy endings in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Poor Fitz and May. Yeah, May really got fucked over, didn't she? I think this episode ended on a positive note for Fitz, though. I think him and Simmons watching the sunrise together. I think they were trying to convey something with that. Like I said, symbolism. If they were watching the sun set, that might signify something else. But watching a sunrise, that's a sign of hope. I think that's how I interpret it, at least. That giving asshole. I think that stepmom is probably in the dark about the guy being in Hydra. After all, so was Phil and Fury, and apparently the entire rest of the council, since they were floored by Hydra coming back again. Yeah, that guy has maintained his cover even after Winter Soldier happened. So, and he managed to, well, I guess he was the last man standing after Coulson, Team Coulson took down everyone in Hydra. Well, except Strucker and List, but then they got taken out too. Yeah, so maybe he was like operating in secret or something. But yeah, apparently this guy's some kind of badass, and he's very shifty, and he's very good at fooling people. So he could have Rosalind just kind of wrapped around his finger and have her like maybe she's like a puppet with her being unaware that he's pulling the strings there. Gore492. I also love the scene how Bobby called out Hunter's stupidity. He set himself up for that one. I also love the scene where Bobby took her shirt off. If I could just be a guy for a second there. I mean, we got to see Bobby Morse without a shirt on. That was really cool. Even though she was inspecting a bullet wound, still, I'm allowed to enjoy it. And, I have a penis. I can enjoy that. But yeah, Hunter did set himself up for that, didn't he? Not really thinking clearly when it comes to Ward right now. That giving asshole. Unless they outright show otherwise, we have no reason to believe a big fish in a small pond like Rosalind is aware of this decades-long Hydra conspiracy. This is true. Plus, you got to figure the good guys think they've weeded out all the Hydra moles by now. I mean, Winter Soldier was a while ago, and there haven't really been any blow-ups on that front since. So maybe they think the Hydra threat has ended by now, so they're not looking for it. Let's see. Zach Harris, do you think it's possible that transforming into Lash could have negative effects on Andrew's human body? He seemed pretty worse for wear toward the end of the episode. Well, there could be a wear and tear effect, yeah, but I think the main negative consequence is that he's going to lose his human body because eventually the transformation into Lash will be permanent. That's what Lincoln was talking about. He's still transitioning. He can shift back and forth now, but eventually he's going to fully become Lash and he won't be human anymore. But yeah, transforming into a giant, into a 7-foot blue monster, that can't be healthy. That's going to take a toll on him. So I imagine that transformation is very painful, and I would expect there to be some kind of after effects. Jacob Walton, thoughts on AOS? Thought it was good, except I think they may have dropped the ball with Lash a little as far as his motivation to kill Inhumans. To me, they were trying to throw ideas at the wall as to why he would want to kill people instead of just one main reason that made sense. I do like the twist with Rosalind being in Hydra and maybe not knowing because now Hydra is the ATCU. Is in the ATCU. They'll have to have control of Inhumans inside and maybe make them comply. Plus, I think Banks could be the mole in the ATCU that works for Hydra, and Rosalind could be the red herring. I would not be against that. Sounds reasonable. As far as Lash's motivation, I think the point was that he was. I think the point was that Andrew was throwing everything against the wall because he was trying like hell to rationalize it to May and to himself. Because deep down he really didn't have an explanation. I think that's what's fucking him up. He's a psychologist. He's trained to to logic things out and understand human behavior, and now he's in a situation where he can't understand his own behavior. Because, there's something inside him that is very much alien and not explainable by conventional means. And it's making him nuts. So he's just coming up with any explanation he can think of. Just to say, okay, no, I'm doing it because of this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And I don't think it's any one of those reasons. It's probably all of them. Really. The Save Me one. When Coulson walked up on Lash, it was badass. That hand must give him some super strength. I kept waiting for him to break out that laser finger you mentioned. I mean, if ever there was a good time for it. But yeah, I think it does give him enhanced strength. There was one part in a previous episode where he choked a guy out with one hand. Might have lifted him up too. But yeah, I would expect he has a little extra strength from that hand. The Save Me one. The kicker is that May planned to kill Andrew. She didn't know that he would survive her shooting him. Yeah. One thing we can be sure of is that May will always do the right thing, no matter what the cost is to herself. So, she did what she had to do, but it probably really tore her up in the process. And she's not really showing it. She's just internalizing all that pain, and that's not a healthy thing to do. Let's see. That giving asshole. I genuinely want to see Fitz and Simmons just break up, move apart like normal people. I don't even see much chemistry between these two mewling nerds, so let it fucking go. Well, they can't exactly break up because they haven't gotten together yet. Don't see much chemistry between them. Wow, I completely disagree. I don't even know if I could put into words how much I disagree with that. Well, if you can't see the chemistry, man, I don't know what to tell you. Agree to disagree on that one, but wow. Zach Harris. Now I really hope Space Asshole turns out to be some kind of evil entity that has to be destroyed. Hashtag fire at will. I like that. Yeah, like I said, there's got to be something up with him. Something has to be wrong, because if there isn't, then a lot of details just don't add up. And I think he at least does think that he is who he says he is, but there could be any number of other things wrong with him. I think, the death creature could be pulling his strings or manipulating him unbeknownst to him, or it could be influencing him somehow. There's a lot of things it could be. One thing we can be absolutely sure of is that he's not what he appears to be. Magpie's Nest Productions, of course it all makes sense now. It was them aliens. Doctor Who reference. Oh, that's why I didn't get it. Okay. Save me one. If Daredevil can't get Emmy nominations, I don't know what superhero show can. Maybe The Defenders can win Best TV Movie or Miniseries? Maybe. Who knows? I mean, the fact that Daredevil didn't get nominated for stunt coordination is a fucking farce. I mean, that's how you know the Emmys are full of shit. I mean, name one show that had better stunts than Daredevil that season. Name me one show that topped what they did. Makes no sense to me. Magpie's Nest Productions. Simmons may give birth to an alien predator hybrid. Wait, wrong franchise. Yeah, I don't know where this space baby theory came from. I've seen that popping up. I'm seeing that popping up a lot, actually. What people seem to be forgetting is that Simmons had a full, medical workup when she returned to Earth. They knew everything that was wrong with her. They knew that she had upper respiratory irritation and inner ear problems and a vitamin D deficiency. If they gave her a full checkup, they would have known if she was pregnant. They would know, because there's ways to tell. There's hormonal changes and all that stuff. So I think it's safe to say that she's not pregnant. That gaming asshole. Jesus, guys, let the hate on for Will go. He's not an alien and he's clearly not evil, or Simmons would be dead. It's likely he's a member of some secret organization, but that's not all bad. Dude, I can't let it go. Because there's so obviously something up with him. Maybe he may not be technically evil, at least not all the way. He may not think he is, but there is absolutely fucking something wrong with him. Because if there wasn't, then it would mean that they put like 20 red herrings into these last couple episodes for no reason. And it simply doesn't add up. Okay, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a hell of a lot of smoke coming off this guy right now. The cult may be the original S.H.I.E.L.D. like in the comics. I somehow doubt that. Because, the original S.H.I.E.L.D. was founded by Howard Stark and Peggy Carter and all those people. That gaming asshole. A secret society founded in the ancient times to protect Earth against evil threats, and the modern S.H.I.E.L.D. is just an offshoot, like Cobra is an offshoot of Cobra La. I vaguely got that G.I. Joe reference. Vaguely. Well, we shall see. Magpie's Nest Productions. So if they had Simmons have sex with space asshole, Simmons will be pregnant because in TV, sex equals baby. Again, they did a full checkup on her. They would know if she had a bun in the oven. Plus, are we to believe that she was still taking birth control on that alien world? Well, there are ways of having sex that don't result in pregnancy. Just putting that out there. Your hope will be taken away from you, evil laugh. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Jacob Walton, I wouldn't be surprised if the president in the MCU was Hydra, since they were set up to meet him along with Gideon Malik. Who knows? Who knows? Zach Harris, I can't imagine that Melinda May is big on hugs, but she looked like she needed one after this episode. I know! Wasn't it great? That's why I liked it so much. We never see May in this position. So it's something completely new for the character that hasn't been explored yet, and that's why I think it's so cool. Because, she's not the most emotionally, she's not the most multifaceted person from an emotional standpoint. We don't get to see her go through like a range of a range of emotions like we do with other people. Yeah, because she always holds it all in, and this is one of those rare occasions when she can't do that, and that's why I think it's so compelling. Magpie's Nest Productions could be like Doctor Who, where he's good but he's forced to do evil. But with the spacesuit, it is too much like Doctor Who. All you have to do is have the spacesuit shoot lasers. It could be that he's good but he's forced to do evil. Yeah, it might be something like that. Yeah, who knows? Like I said, I think there was an attempt by the writers to keep him at least somewhat sympathetic in all this. So it could turn out that he's as much a victim as anyone else, but that doesn't mean he's completely innocent. Because we do know that at the very least he lied about a lot of things to Simmons. So let's keep that in mind. And anything else going on Twitter? No, that's about it from Twitter. And okay, reached the bottom of the chat room, so I will hang around for another minute or two to see if you guys have anything else. My stomach feels weird. Been feeling weird for a couple of weeks now. I've had no appetite. I still try to eat something, but I swear I haven't been hungry in a couple of weeks. I should probably see a doctor about that, I guess. But I'm actually been starting to lose weight a little bit, so it's not like it's been detrimental to me. Zach Harris, what do you think Monday Night Raw needs to save the ratings? Well, for starters, they need a complete creative overhaul. They need to change the way they do stories. They need to stop having Vince micromanage everything because he changes his mind so damn often. They should probably get some new writers, or a lot of new writers. They need to change the way they build stars. Completely. Should probably change their philosophies about who they push. And that's just off the top of my head. There's a lot of things they need to do. Let's see. Magpie's Nest Productions. What are your thoughts on the WWE title tournament? I don't really have any. I'm glad that it's going to conclude relatively quickly, so it doesn't take up months and months and months of time, like TNA is doing. On the other hand, it seems awfully predictable that Roman Reigns is gonna win. I mean, if he doesn't, I'll be stunned. They might have some swerve, like Sheamus comes out and cashes in on him, or something at the end, or something. But yeah, I think we can very much expect Roman Reigns to be in the finals, if not outright win the thing. Seems pretty cut and dry to me, but it's not like they have a lot of choices here. Cena's out, their top heel is out. They didn't bother building up anyone else to replace their top heel, so they're probably scrambling and working around the clock to figure out what to do. Zach Harris, when Triple H and Stephanie eventually take over the company completely, will things change much, or will it still be relatively the same? You probably see smaller changes. I don't think Vince McMahon is going anywhere. He might take less of a role overall, but he's not leaving until he dies. I think that's pretty clear. So we're going to have to deal with his influence probably for a very long time to come still. I suspect you might see more of an NXT style to the product of Triple H as Triple H gains more power. That said, I don't expect there to be any significant changes, and I think a lot of the problems, if not all the problems, will still be there. Let's see, Magpie's Nest Productions. How many writers do you think they need? I'm of the belief 3, no more than 5. Well, if what we're led to believe is true, it seems like they're writing the show by committee right now. So they have quite a lot of writers, like maybe over 10, 20, something like that. That's way too much. And it's too many cooks in the kitchen, I believe, is the expression. I think 5 would probably be a good number. That way, maybe, I don't know, maybe another few, I don't know. Just enough that you get a wide variety of opinions, but without having so many voices in the room that you can't let the product coalesce into one singular vision. So I'd say definitely more than 3. That's for sure. Lucky STR8, how do you think the CW will handle the DC embargo since the Flash show and a Flash movie will be around the same time? Is that confirmed? Haven't heard anything about that. I don't know, honestly. Probably just by making no references to the other project at all. But, I don't think a Flash movie has even been greenlit yet. Magpie's Nest Productions, why do you think they didn't just have Sheamus cash in on Rollins? Well, you mean before Rollins got hurt? Well, probably because they didn't want Sheamus to be the guy who took the title from him. Sheamus has not been positioned well, is not in any kind of position where he could win the world title or that anyone would take him seriously in that spot right now. There wasn't a good story for it. There wasn't a good way to do it. And why would they put so much time and investment into Rollins as the champion just to have Sheamus, of all people, take the belt from him? No, I think they were building up to Reigns taking it from him. And, having Sheamus cash in on Rollins would have been stupid. And that giving asshole has left us for the night. Talk again next week, dude. Zach Harris, do you think it would help the Divas division if they took 3 or 4 of the writers and appointed them to only write for the Divas? I don't think so. Ultimately, it's still Vince with a final call on everything. So, the buck stops with him, so he's the reason why the Divas don't get coherent storylines or anything really substantive to work with from a creative standpoint at all. So I don't think it matters how many writers you put on it, because ultimately it's Vince deciding what happens and what doesn't. And if he doesn't want the Divas to be anything more than what they are, then they're not going to be. And I think that will about do it for the night. I gotta go take some Pepto because my stomach is acting up again. So that's all I got for the night. Thanks everybody for joining me. Damn. I'd be time to see a doctor. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Good stream tonight. I will talk to you next Wednesday for the Impact review. Same time every week, 11:15 p.m. right after the show. And then next Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, where we'll do this all again. Thanks everyone for joining me. I will talk to you then. Peace out.